Oh, God. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Going on to the next one, and this is going to be kind of proving everybody right here. And I don't know how about, not removing people's rights to have ways to defend themselves. To where a man was deleted due to the fact that there was a person that had a weapon that to defend themselves and the people that were there. Let's get right into it, shall we? Man attempting to enter Alabama elementary school fatally shot by school resource officer. The 34-year-old man was attempting to enter an Alabama elementary school was fatally shot by an armed school resource officer on June 9th. The man, North Carolina resident Robert Tyler White, did not have children at the school. There were 34 children at the Walnut Park Elementary School campus for camp when the incident took place at around 9:30 a.m. Atchison County Sheriff Jonathan Horton told AL.com that a resident called Attila Police to report that there was a suspicious man outside the building. The man also attempted to get into a marked Rainbow City patrol vehicle that was being used by the school resource officer. Gadsden City School Superintendent Tony Reddick told the outlet that he was aggressively trying to gain access to the school through several doorways, prompting a lockdown. When the school resource officer confronted White, he attempted to steal the officer's weapon. It is unclear if White was armed. He was fatally shot in the front of the school. The officer obtained minor injuries. Within minutes of the incident, dozens of officers from several agencies were responding to the scene. We're just so thankful that none of this involved the children, Reddick said while speaking to reporters. Everyone followed the safety protocols that we've drilled on. Where, in a tweet, the governor praised our quick action and success in keeping the children safe. When a situation ensued outside of Walnut Park School in Gadsden today, SROs immediately took action. Faculty inside the building followed safety protocols, and all children present were kept out of harm's way. I commend all involved for acting quickly to protect these children. All the children were picked up within 20 minutes, and most had no idea that anything ever had even happened. So, yeah, very short article today. But I will make this video somewhat a little bit long here. And he's trying to take the officer's gun and all this stuff. It's pretty much the same thing here. So I probably won't put this in because it's the same deal. But, however, I will say this. Notice how the person that entered this, regardless whether he was armed or not, was immediately put down and prevented any harm to children whatsoever. We don't know if it was armed or not. But despite that, an officer did his duty and put that man down that was seemingly wanting to do harm to children. Now, you're going to have these anti-gun people going out and saying, "Oh, well, he didn't have a weapon," or he's like, he didn't really do much, right, or whatever. And it's like, okay, first off, despite whether he had a gun or not, it was not really particularly the issue here. Because we have to look back at the overall shooting of the massacre that happened there. Now, the police did his job, correct? So if the police did his job, then that means the person that was trying to do harm to whoever was in the building, regardless whether it's children or not children, maybe even adults, was stopped. Now, let's take the actual situation with the evil police, where they're tasing parents, they're pepper spraying parents, or preventing parents from going inside, and proceed to do nothing. There's even reports to where they hear gunshots inside of the school, and they didn't do anything at all. They proceeded to do nothing, even after hearing gunshots. And it took somebody else, with a gun, mind you, to put the evil man down and to stop the complete massacre, even though it was still a massacre regardless. Now, that's the reality. We have a police officer actually doing his job, and then we have police officers completely not doing their job. And notice how the police officer not doing their job resulted in a massacre. Because, again, they had 40 to 60 minutes to fix the problem. They didn't do anything. This officer was on scene. He was a patrol officer. He was doing his job. He was there to protect the children. Also, another form of why you should have a police officer or some type of security there at schools to prevent this from happening. Because as we can see here, this whole situation was avoided due to the fact that there was a police officer nearby to stop the attack from happening. Which is again, this is maybe trying to show that maybe the Republicans' ideas or their idea to try to stop this type of tragedy from happening is to have more security there. Now, there's going to be people that are saying, oh, we don't have money. Well, guess what? The government is actively sending money to Ukraine and not helping the American people, increasing the inflation by a whole bunch by sending trillions of dollars to for people for the testing and all that, and that's the case here, right? They're creating inflation, so they're spending money that is not beneficial to the American people, and they're spending money that is not on the American people. As so, they spent like $40 billion to send to Ukraine for war for whatever apparent reason. Why we're there, I don't know why, but I digress. And we can't send, or we can't have money being sent to schools for a little bit of security? Really? We can't do that. The government can't, in their best interest, send money to schools for security, right? Or the public schools can't afford it. Well, guess what? They're going to have to try to do something, because obviously it's not working. Or have the school people or the teachers have training in actual defense class and have a gun on person so they can actively defend their students. But needless to say, it seems like this is working, or at least this one part is working. It seems going to be a very beneficial aspect to maybe future ideas to have this happen. There are ways to make things work. We need to try. Saying something that, it's impossible because of money aspects is not really an excuse. It's that's just like, okay, so we have this one roadblock. How else can we make this work? How else can we find ways to help protect kids rather than deflecting and say it's always a money issue? That's not a solution. That's just a roadblock. All right? So we need to find solutions. I don't want none of that BS to where, like, oh, well, money problem. No. The U.S. government spends billions of dollars on pointless fucking shit. The least they can do is protect kids and send money to schools. And for God forbid, people are going to say, oh, send money to black communities. Why not just send money to poverty communities rather than just being a Pacific race? Yeah, it's okay, black people may be the most impoverished people there. Granted. However, just send it to more poverty places. But again, the Democrats say they're going to help, but why isn't their money going to black communities or any type of poverty communities to help fix the whole black place in the first place? Or rather, why in Chicago, why there's so many shootings happening in Chicago, and majority is black people, and majority is happening in the poverty areas, and the majority of it is happening due to there being no jobs and being mostly in the south part of Chicago. And the person, which is a black woman, by the way, Lori Lightfoot, is not really doing much to help her own fellow black people, right? To help her own fellow black people get out of this situation. She's done nothing. The thing is what I realized in a lot of these places when it comes to schools or whatever, and want to help them, is that we can actually fix a lot of the problems if Democrats actually did what they said they were going to do and give money to communities that are suffering and in poverty. Fix the buildings. Put money into the impoverished communities to where there's schools and jobs, because that's part of the reason why. Even if you see documentaries to where there's some people that have been, where there are black people that have done crime and stuff like that, they said that it's because there's no jobs and stuff. Well, put in jobs. If you need to send the SWAT team or the government or whatever to sweep some of the bad crime, do it. fix the community. But again, you're going to have people that are going to keep voting Democrat because they say they want to fix the problem and not. Again, there was a black woman that was in Baltimore that actively said, that was going around the streets of Baltimore and saying, okay, let's fix the problem by fixing up the community, by fixing up the buildings and adding more schools and stuff. And she was a Republican, but the black people in Baltimore decided to still vote Democrat. Even though the black woman that said she was going to fix their black communities, her own communities, was not elected. So again, this is not just, I say that Democrats are the problem, which they are, but black people are also the problem. Because if they're actively, which is Baltimore's majority black, why would they vote a Democrat that is not helping and hasn't helped them? And then they have somebody that is an actual black woman that was specifically going to help them and say what she was going to do, and they don't vote for her. If that's not a black problem or a black situation, I don't know what to tell you. So at the end of the day, we're seeing a lot of things happen, and more shootings, finances rising up, mostly because of all this other crazy stuff that's happening. And I think it's probably going to get a little bit worse. But again, the resource officer shown to be doing good. The schools are happening, and hopefully we can fix this issue. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.